All right, folks, this is Kelvin for FLiP.com. I am here at the 2022 East Coast Slingshot Tournament, folks. I believe it's the biggest one in the United States, and it's been around for quite a long time, folks. This is my first event here. I'm having a wonderful time, folks, meeting all different wonderful, nice people. But there are some people that I go to the event just to meet. And the reason why I want to meet those people is because those are the people that inspires me. You know, learning how to shoot, and also not only shooting, but learning how to even build, the frames. So folks, you guys are in for a very special surprise today, okay? Today, folks, I actually have a living legend with me, and I am so excited. I finally get to meet him. He is like one of the handful of shooter that I actually want to meet. Like I said, because he inspired me and I learned so much. And I know you guys have learned a lot from him too, okay? So folks, on that note, I don't want to keep you waiting. I want to go ahead and welcome Mr. Bill Hayes. How you doing, sir?
Very well,
It's
thank
good
you,
to
sir.
see you. Yeah. First of all, how are you enjoying the event?
I always enjoy these events. Slingshot tournaments are one of the few breaks from work and life that I get to have, and I always enjoy the events. If I didn't enjoy them, I wouldn't go. And I'm here, so that proves it.
Yeah.
I enjoy them myself.
So you working, you busy all the time on you have a ranch, of course.
We have a we
Yeah.
have a farm.
Yeah.
We have chickens, dogs, kids, lots of kids. I have 5 kids, and so everything stays busy all the time. I'm busy with doing sports and academic activities with the children and all that type of stuff.
Our question is, do we need to have a farm in order to shoot good?
You need to have access to a place that you can go and shoot unhindered. Where nobody's going to say, "Hey, you out there, cut that out." You have to have a place like that. Yeah, sure. That would certainly help a whole lot. I think that people who live in the city, they have a real disadvantage, honestly. Because where are you gonna go? You can't go out to the park and shoot. The police will go out there and say, "Hey, there's a guy out there with a slingshot." Really good thing about slingshots
Yes.
as compared to even pellet guns,
Yes.
is they're quieter,
Okay.
and they're less obtrusive, and they're less dangerous than even a pellet gun too, because the shot doesn't carry as far. If you mess up, you get a ricochet and it goes off off to the neighbor or something like that.
Yeah.
In fact, the worst I've ever done is I did break a windshield out one time. Yes, I did. But it was
Dennis the
on my own
Menace.
truck. It was on my own truck,
Okay.
and I actually was screwing around a little bit when it happened. It was an accident, but not an accident, and kind of a thing going on like
Did
that.
somebody get mad at you for doing that?
My daughter did, because that was her truck, actually.
The truth come out. We were talking about the event here at the East Coast. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is the longest running event in the for Slingshot in America?
It's the longest running slingshot tournament in America right now.
Yeah. And how long have you been attending, Bill?
Since 2014, I do believe.
Okay. Wow, and have you seen the increases every year?
Well, it's kind of stays about the same actually for the last few years.
Okay.
We have new people come in, and some of the older timers, they can't make the event, but it's made up by new people coming in.
Yeah.
But the old timers are still involved in it, but they're involved in non-face-to-face type events like on Facebook or something like that. I myself have a Facebook
Yes, you do.
thing on there, but I don't use it ever.
Okay.
I only got it for one reason. That was so that I could check in on what my kids are doing on Facebook. You want to know the real truth?
Yes.
That was the only reason why I got it in the first place. And then of course my kids, Facebook's no longer cool for kids, so
Yeah.
I don't even look at it anymore. And I know that sounds horrible and all that I have that like that, but there are still slingshot forums and other outlets where you can go that are specialized in that. And I kind of prefer the forum structure over like Facebook and stuff, because the Facebook has works like a you put a post in here and then it drops down here, and then nobody's going to read past a certain point.
Yeah.
They're only going to read like the first page or two on anybody's stuff like that. Otherwise, they just get bored and they're not going to see it. Well, I could have already had a question answered down here on that nobody reads, but they keep asking the same question, and every time the answer drops down that far,
Yeah.
then they'll get asked again.
Yeah.
Whereas on a forum, you can have a whole thread set up that answers that question.
One specific topic.
Exactly, and I prefer that format myself because I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on the internet per se myself, because I prefer to actually be out doing things and not talking about doing things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and that might be one of the reasons why I'm actually, you know, a decent shot and stuff, is because I actually go out and do the practice instead of talking about going out and doing the practice, which I've noticed a lot of people, way too many people actually are talking too much about it instead of actually doing it.
Are you talking about me, Bill? Anyway, no, I enjoy just shooting. I love shooting a lot, but I really enjoy collecting.
Yes.
And speaking of collecting, Bill, not only you are a famous shooter, but you also are a builder.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I started shooting slingshots in 1970, about that area.
Yeah.
And I despised it. I absolutely hated it because
Wow.
because they had these wireframe slingshots that with the big tubes on there.
Yeah. Wrist
and,
rocket.
and I already knew how to shoot a BB gun, you know, and I was really good with a BB gun.
Ah, okay.
And so I, you know, I bought one of those at the store because I thought it looked cool because you could shoot these big marbles with it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing was, you pull it and it's like, oh my God, you know, for a little, you know, at that time, what was I, 1970? I've been about 6 or 7 years old, so.
Right.
And so I'm, you know, you pull it, it's like, and then and it just goes, it drizzles out of there, doesn't hit anything, and you lose interest pretty quick. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
And you don't hit what you're aiming at, and I knew how to aim.
Yeah.
But the thing wouldn't do it. So anyway, I lost interest, and then later on, I got to where I needed to learn how to shoot a slingshot because I wanted to get on a show on the History Channel called Top Shot.
Yeah.
And so I went and started, you know, because I got a hold of the producers of the show and all, and they said, well, yeah, okay, you know, this and that, and they said that I could probably get on there because of my experience with, you know, sheriff's department and stuff. And I said, okay, that sounds great. I'd love to try this because I think I could, you know, I watched the show and I said I can beat most of those guys on you know, just about every weapon they got.
Right.
But then they had a Chief AJ got on there, and he was shooting a slingshot.
Yeah.
And he was hitting like pie plates and stuff, you know, at a distance, and I'm like, whoa, I couldn't do that with a slingshot. You know, I don't, you know, and the, you know, the competitors weren't doing it very well either. Okay, let's be honest, they weren't doing it. But Chief AJ was hitting, and I was saying, well, if he can do it, I can probably do it because he's like old, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I understand all that, and then I looked at how he was shooting, and I said, well, okay, first of all, he turns it on the side like that. That's a good thing that I should know. I should have figured out a long time ago, but I didn't.
You know, yeah.
Like that, and so I said, you know, going from there, I checked into it, and then I checked online how to shoot a slingshot, and the first thing brought up was some videos. One of them was Tex Harriman's.
Tex Harriman.
They call Tex Shooter on the forums.
Yes.
And he's a very nice old man, and he actually won a couple of national championships when back whenever they were doing those things in the early 2000s.
Wow.
And then they quit doing them after that. But anyway, he won a couple of national championships and he got some write-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I looked into him a little bit, and then I watched him on video shooting, and then I just tried to emulate what he did. I just tried the same things. I said, that really helps a lot.
Yeah.
But then because I have a lot of shooting experience myself with bows and with guns and shotguns and pistols and everything else, I then just started adding in a couple of things that I already knew from the other aspects of shooting, and then we started bringing slingshots into a new era of accuracy. And then from there, I said, well, these slingshots, I wish they could shoot a little bit more accurately, easier, you know, on your joints, so that you would have a perfect lineup every time and stuff like that. So that's when I got into doing the ergonomic setups where you have the, you know, where it's a side shooter only thing. Because since I'm not going to be with the forks up, I need a slingshot that's designed for forks up. So I designed them specifically for side shooting.
Yes.
And then from there on, everything is approved. And it's not only me doing it. I mean, there were other people who started in at that time too. Then said, "Hey, that's a good idea," and everybody jumped on board, and one thing led to another, and so we're doing all kinds of, you know, really crazy builds and stuff. And then I thought, well, I think that we're good enough now with these slingshots that we could start doing some, trick shots and stuff. I wanted to see if I could do trick shots like I could do with my guns.
Wow.
So the first trick shot I thought about doing was, cutting cards, because that's the first thing you can, that's like the first trick shot you do with gun. I knew that slingshots had a lot more accuracy potential because there's a guy in England named Neil Bingham.
Okay.
Now Neil Bingham, because once I decide to look at a subject, I try to digest everything I can about that subject, and then it goes through a whole process, and I'll take the stuff I like and I can use and so forth and so on, and I try to utilize that. And the stuff that doesn't help me at all, I usually junk it, or I just put it aside for later. Maybe I'm not using it right.
Right.
So, but on Neil Bingham, he actually shot the slingshot a lot better than Tex Harriman was showing on his video. Even though Tex Harriman was a national champion, Neil Bingham hit a can 10 times in a row.
Oh man, 10 times
soda pop can 10 times in a row from about 30 feet away. And I'm looking at that and I said, okay, that's as accurate as most people are with a pistol.
Wow.
If he can do that with a slingshot, that means that there's some real accuracy potential people are not getting out of these things. They're not understanding how to really get accurate with them. And that really set my mind ablaze of how to figure things out and try to get more and more accuracy out of these things. And then of course that led to the ergonomics and everything else like that. But once we had the ergonomics down, and then the aim points, where you have the reference points on your slingshots and how to do it and all, then from there, we went and and then decided we're going to start doing trick shots with them. I didn't actually start doing the trick shots to publicize slingshots or anything. I did it because I thought it was just a whole lot of fun.
I love it. Isn't that how it normally you want to keep it? Exactly. As fun first, Bill?
That was the whole idea in my mind. From there, for maybe the first 5 or 6 years while I was involved in this, was just everything's only about the fun and like that, because I had other businesses and stuff to do, and I didn't rely on it for for income or anything. And so I gave away tons of stuff to Boy Scouts, to veterans, to active military. I can't tell you how much stuff I've given away to Navy SEALs and their platoons. Those guys, they go through some slingshots, let me tell you what.
Well, I'm pretty sure they appreciate it.
Oh, they love them. I've gotten a lot of paraphernalia from them.
Yeah. Folks, you mentioned Chief AJ, correct? I happen to own one of the frames that he used to actually, what is that?
Top Shot?
Top Shot, but he did the world record, right?
He hit
like a 500 or something, or straight or something like that.
Yeah, he did a bunch of things that they're not Guinness World Records, by the way. The Guinness Book of World Records, there's only one world record.
And what is that?
And that is for hitting the most amount of cans in a minute.
Which is who won that?
We've had it here in America. When I first started,
yes,
it was 10 cans in a minute, and if you could do that, you got a world record.
Yeah.
Well, after we figured out how to do it, shoot slingshots a lot better, we got a bunch of people who could do that. And then it went to 12, 13. Then Mike McClure, he got 16 cans in a minute. And then we had some Chinese guys that figured it out. They said, well, you know what? I can stuff all kinds of ammo in my hand here, like this. And,
like a fish type of?
Like that. Where, I think they put some magnet rings in their hands and stuff like that, and so they could put all kinds of ammo.
Oh, I got you.
And then they went to a style of shooting, which is like
they call it Shanghai or something, high style,
something like that. Well, they did that, but I don't think that they actually grasped the ammo on the first times they did it.
Right.
I think what they did is they actually stuffed it in the pouch and pulled like this.
I got you.
They stuff it in the pouch and then pull with the middle finger like that. Is how they were doing it. But it would pull, stuff, pull, release, stuff, pull, release, do it like that. And they got like 26 cans in a minute or something. It's which is really, really, really difficult. I mean, it's not difficult to hit the cans.
Yeah.
Once you understand the concept and the basics of shooting, hitting cans is super easy.
Got it.
And I've hit, I don't know, I guess probably 130 shots in a row on cans without missing. And then I finally just got tired.
Just tired, huh? That's why
and
you
I
stopped?
said, that's enough of it. And I actually ran out of, I've done it several times where I run out of ammo in my pouch and that was the end of it. I just said, it's enough. But So if once you know how to do it, it's
Yeah.
super easy to do. Anybody can do it though. It's not like a special skill. It's just a matter of if you want to sit there and do it that long.
Right. If you, again, the word is,
Right.
the key word is practice.
It's practice. Once you learn and understand the concepts, you can do it all. I mean, anybody can pretty much.
Yeah, because folks, at this event, we actually have the tan can shot, which is dedicated to blue skiing.
Right.
And I seen some people missing out of the 10 shot in a minute.
The can shoot on
Yeah.
on that right there, it gives you you can take a person who can hit a can every freaking time,
Yeah.
give them time element, and all of a sudden they can't hit anything because they say, well, I gotta do it in such and such time. So they hurry every shot instead of centering on the can and releasing.
Right.
They're just lifting and firing and kind of blindly and getting near the can.
Yeah.
That's really the thing. If you just take your time, just lift, aim, release. Lift, aim, release. You got 1 minute to hit 10 cans. You saw how little bit of time it actually takes for me to
Yeah.
load, lift, aim, release. It takes me about 5 seconds to do that.
Right.
All right, so the first shot, the first can is basically free anyway.
Yeah.
Because the time starts as soon as you release on the first shot.
Interesting.
So you actually have to hit 9 cans in a minute if you hit the first can.
Got it. So the first can, okay, I didn't really think about it. We just get up there and
Exactly,
shoot.
so-
The first can is, it's a free can because it won't start until you.
Exactly. Most people miss that first can.
Yeah.
They hurry on the first can. I don't know why. They hurry the first can. You don't have to hurry on the first can. First can's free. You can just sit there and wait, get your windage, elevation, anything you want to do. I'll go. Yeah, that's good right there. Okay. Oh, hold on. I feel a breeze coming. You can wait on that, but as soon as you release, boom, then time starts.
Bill, speaking of can, could you please hit that target for one time for us while
Sure.
we? Oh, you have any?
Yeah, I got a little bit here.
Yeah. Okay. Because we love to see you shoot, man.
What is that about?
Right, that one.
75, 80 feet away?
That right there. Yeah. There you go, folks.
When I put it right in the middle, it's going to sound different. Look.
Oh, okay. I just asked.
If I put it right on the middle part there, it's going to sound a little bit different,
Really?
I think, because it looks like a sheet of something on
Yes,
there.
yes. I see it. Here we go, folks.
See that click noise? That's right
Yes.
in the middle there.
One of the questions was actually who inspired you, and you have already mentioned Tex and also
Neil Bingham.
Neil Bingham.
When I saw Neil
Yeah.
Bingham do that, I knew I could do it. Knew that it was possible to do it.
Yeah.
And I might have told you about this a long time ago. In fact, I did tell you about it.
Yes.
They had the American Ninja Warrior and the Ninja Warrior Championships.
Yeah.
Well, the same concept applies. You got this extremely hard obstacle course, and nobody could do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy man stuff.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
can do that. Maybe a chimpanzee might be able to get
Totally.
something done.
Yeah.
But no human could do that. Then a guy goes out and does it.
Yeah.
And then they have the next Ninja Warrior Championship with the same obstacles, and 6 guys do it. That's because the first guy showed everybody else that it can be done,
Right.
and that humans are capable of a lot more
Yeah.
than what we think we are. We just have to see somebody do it for us first, and it's like, oh well, he can do it, I can do it. I'm as strong as him, I'm as fast as him, I'm as good a shot as he is, and you have to believe in yourself, then you can do it too. Now, I'm not saying I can go out and run the Ninja Warrior thing. That's not going to happen. I got a son who might be able to one of these days, but I'm not ever. I never could do it. Okay, I do have exceptional eyesight. Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Most people's eyes are not as good as mine. I do know this. But
Stop
you can
talking
build
about me,
yourself
Bill.
up, though. You can build your eyesight. There's that too. That's the other thing. You can build your eyesight up.
Yes.
And most people, when they start, they don't have as good a control over their hands and all that. Yeah, okay. I was a professional artist, so my hand-eye coordination is pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's these things like that. I can handle crowd pressures pretty good because I've taught martial arts for 35 years. So I mean, I can stay in front of people that are much tougher than I am and teach them how to do things.
You said law enforcement. Were you
Yes.
a policeman or?
I was a sheriff's department, and I was in CERT, which is the SERT, which is the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, and and I got sniper qualified and did all kinds of
Yeah.
different things like that I don't really want to talk about too much.
No. Actually, you don't need to. You know why
Yeah,
you don't need
but
to?
it was that stuff. That's one of the reasons why I want to go on Top Shot is because
Yeah.
because I knew my capabilities were at least as good as what those guys were, and I was like, that's some easy money right there. And so I learned how to use a slingshot and everything like that, just so I could get on that show. And then as it turns out, I actually enjoyed the slingshot more than I enjoyed all the other weapons I had, and was an expert at. And I really enjoyed it way more than like all of my guns and everything else.
Yeah, I want to ask you that because from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, slingshot is considered to be a poor man's sport, which is not a bad thing, right? Okay, it's affordable.
Well, what I believe it is, is we have a whole lot of different levels in this. All right, maybe I shouldn't say this, but Donald Trump has bought slingshots from us.
Folks,
I don't think that he's what you would call a poor man.
You hear it here first, okay, folks? All right, Mr. Trump got one of
Donald Trump Jr. as well.
Oh my God!
I don't know if
pocket
they were
predator.
out in
They got a pocket predator.
Mar-a-Lago, they're out there shooting, see who's the best. But I know that they did get the slingshots, and Donald Trump Jr. had spent a lot of time talking back and forth with my wife on emails, and I'm not saying any jealous or anything like that. I'm just saying is she's a very, very nice person, and
she is,
and she's a lot nicer than I am.
Doranda, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, because if not, we probably won't get off frames, okay? So thank you, continue on doing that.
She handles it. She handles the shipping and the handling and customer service, because I think that it works out pretty well the way we do it. I handle, testing and research and development, and we're going to call it that, eh?
Yes, well it is. It is.
It is that.
It's a business.
But and I handle, taking out and shooting and coming to tournaments and doing this. She's gone to tournaments and she's probably actually a natural better shot than I am.
So I heard that not only she's a natural shooter, but she can kick some ass, mainly the husband. I don't know, is it right?
It was about 3 or 4 years ago.
I love it.
She did beat me. That was no question about it. She was cool under fire and ended up winning the whole thing, so it was easy for her.
I love it. And she was just
it was ice.
She was bragging all for a long time?
Not a brag about it at all. She knows that men can't handle that. I'm a man. I know that we can't handle it either.
I know. Stop, Bill. What you're doing, and there's other people out there that is, pushing the sport, and trying to grow it. And the first thought in my mind was like the Boy Scout.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would be a perfect fit, but I don't see Boy Scout. I was in Boy Scout, by the way, and in Alabama, I do not remember shooting slingshot. What's your thought on that? I mean, is it possible?
They do have slingshots as part of the Eagle Scout Challenge.
Oh, they do?
Okay. Yeah, and the guys who've done it and gone through that, they understand how to shoot it, sideways like we've shown. The whole setup like that. And they've always been taught, to shoot it the same way, basically like you shoot a bow.
Yes.
From the side like this, same sighting system, same everything like that. My thought is, it's far safer to teach them how to use a slingshot than a 22 or an archery.
Yes.
And not only that, they can learn to develop the proper shooting basics from a slingshot, and then transfer those to anything else later.
When you say transfer to other things, meaning that a rifle, bow and arrow?
Mainly a shotgun. Really, you can take a slingshot basically and transfer the concepts and the basics of shooting a slingshot to a shotgun, like 1-for-1.
Bill, you did that the opposite. You were like an enforcement, and you were shooting the shotgun first and practice on that.
Oh yeah.
And then you, it's a difference?
There's not a huge difference between shooting a slingshot and a shotgun. The same concept applies like that. I like this slingshot here, for example. It has a mark right here.
Yes,
like
I
that.
see it.
That's basically the same as a bead on a shotgun.
I got
the front bead sight on a shotgun. Well, I can take that, cover it, and fire, or release really, really quickly. Same concept. The line, you're looking down the barrel of the shotgun to the bead goes on the target.
Yes.
Really, and then you fire. Well, the slingshot here, you pull it, bead goes on the target, you release. Now, how long I hold it on the target and get more precision in there involved in hold it, like I hold it on the target, or I'll bring it down just a smidge or this and that. That gives you more precision, you might say, in the shot. And it's the same way it works on a shotgun. So on a shotgun, if I want to hit like a deer out there, it's at 100 yards, and I know that the drop on my shotgun at 100 yards is about a foot, I'll put 1 foot above the target that I'm trying to hit on the deer, which
Yeah.
would be, you know, right behind his front leg right
Yeah.
there, and you know, try to put it in a hard shot
Yeah.
like that. Same thing. On a slingshot, you know that at 100 yards it's going to drop 20 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just elevate it above it, and you kind of guesstimate, and you can hit it too.
In regards to the latex band, I read is that you want to release as you know, get rid of it as fast
Right,
as
right,
possible. Could you give us a thought on that?
The Chinese do not believe that. I don't believe it, and there's a reason why.
Please.
I tested all of this. Okay, people, and that's one of the things I did from the very, very beginning, because I accepted a lot of stuff that people were saying at the very beginning. That's just true because they said it's true, and it looked like it was reasonable and logical to me. It looked, because what they said worked out logically, but then you look at it and you start thinking about it and say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, you know, because I'm really, really good at physics. Okay,
Yeah.
listen to that. And I have one daughter who's really, really good at it too.
So I believe you.
And so I was, and so I looked at it, and then I started, and it just kind of is in the back of your mind, and it comes to the forefront and is going, you know, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like for example, the more narrow a fork is, the more linear the shot is, therefore the more powerful it is, and all that.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I thought, well, wait a minute, as long as you're pulling to the same anchor point, which they are,
Yes.
if you have a wider fork, it should actually be more powerful because it has a,
Longer
because you're
stretch.
stretching the bands more.
And the
more you stretch the
fork
bands,
is wider, so you are stretching. Yes, yes,
you
you're right.
have to stretch the
I see
bands
it.
further before they
I see
reach,
it.
you know, before they reach the contraction point. And so I said,
Interesting.
well, if they're doing that, then wouldn't it make sense that they would actually fire the shot faster
Yeah.
on a wider fork? And I actually proved that in several videos. You know that the wider the forks, you actually get a little bit more speed. Now you do gain a little bit of draw weight, but it's the same amount of draw weight that it would take to propel it that extra speed too, though.
Okay.
So it all works out exactly the same. In other words, if you're using draw weight as your factor
Yes.
or as your variable, and so
So
narrow forks, wide forks, none of that matters. What matters is, so long as you can hold it properly, you have the right ergonomics, and it doesn't shake, so that you can actually hold it on target and get that precision shot done. Now, yes, latex in of itself, the first pull on it,
yes,
it has a little bit of heat there.
yes, it does.
Okay, that heat. Now, a lot of guys say that heat is what's storing the energy. Okay?
Yes, that's what I hear.
And I look at it and I say, well, no, the heat's a byproduct. Okay, the heat is a byproduct of friction.
Of chemical.
Which the friction is when you're pulling the cellular structure apart, and it's going to. So anyway, but yes, the heat does want to pull it back like that. You can heat it back up, and it will go, you know, like that. So if you hold it, and then the heat dissipates from
Yes.
it, it will shoot just a little bit slower. But once you're past about 6 seconds or so, the ambient temperature outside takes over basically. Okay, so if you're shooting in a cold weather and you're holding it for longer than 6 seconds and it's 30 degrees outside, you know, I'm talking Fahrenheit here, and it's 30 degrees Fahrenheit outside, yeah, your shot's going to drizzle out.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it's like today, for example, where
Yes.
it's what, well, 75,
Oh, it was
78
beautiful.
degrees, a
Yeah.
beautiful day here,
Yeah.
and I pull it out and I hold it for 6 seconds, it's not going to matter. It's still going to shoot it's still going to shoot fast. I can prove that right now, in fact. But it's
Could you go ahead
I-
and,
well, in
and
fact,
prove right now?
I can prove it right now.
Folks,
The same-
you guys owe me one, okay? Because I know there's a lot of you out there that want to have the same question. How long can I hold my band for? Well, now you know, okay?
you can, as long as you're over 6 seconds,
Yep.
you're going to have the same shot.
And it is
Basically
kind of
from
cool
there-
right now. The sun went out.
From about 6 seconds to about from 6 seconds to about 30 seconds, it's all going to be about the same. So how
Yes.
many seconds is that?
4,
4, 5,
5,
6,
6, 7,
8. We'll go 10.
10. We're going to go for 10, folks. I never hope. All
There
right,
you
there you have it, okay?
Same shot. Now, if
Yes.
you can play back the amount of time that the shot took to get there,
A little bit slower. Just
right?
a little bit.
From the time that I shot before,
Yes.
then you can see the difference.
Just a little
It's
but
just
it's
the-
not
it's
enough.
the tiniest amount.
Okay. All
It's
right.
the tiniest amount, and this is where you're going faster here.
Yes.
And fire.
Yeah.
So it's just a tiniest amount. That's about. It's about 80 feet or something like that to there, maybe a little bit more.
The question is, Bill, do we as shooters need to be expert in martial art to be good at slingshot?
Yeah.
Stop!
No, slingshot,
you see
slingshots. Okay. Anyway, I put in to see if we could get, because you got to learn
Yes.
weapons also with martial arts. Some of them, like you
Yeah.
got to learn. Some of you got to learn how to use a tonfa. You got to
Yes.
learn how to use a nunchuck or spears or
Mhm.
whatever. Long bow staffs or whatever. All different. You can learn different things. For my black belt in Aikido, I learned how to use a bow like for kendo,
Yeah.
and I learned how to use a
Oh,
samurai
okay.
sword. And the reason why I learned how to use a samurai sword, two reasons. One, I thought it was just très cool, man. That's the coolest weapon there is. And then the other reason was because I imagined myself, because I'm doing martial arts so much, that I'm going to be crippled by the time I'm my age now, which I'm not. And I'm going to be carrying a cane around, and then all the moves that you use for a sword, you can use
Yes.
for a cane.
Yes.
And I figured, well, I'd use that cane, I'd beat the hell out of somebody with, these wicked snappers trying to take my money or whatever. I haven't had to do that yet because I can still walk, but
We discussed about you being a shooter, okay? And folks, once again, I'm go back to do my martial art, which I never learned. You got to be Bruce Lee, okay? That's what Bill said.
no, I wanted the slingshot to be a weapon that you could use in that, because the reason why you learn weapons in martial arts
Yes.
is not so that you can go out and kill somebody with that weapon. It is to help focus your skill levels and to help focus your skills.
Yeah.
So like kendo, when you learn kendo, the whole concept behind the thing is not so that I can go hunting, bucks with my bow. In fact, it's a very inefficient martial art for hunting bucks with a bow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
in
yeah.
fact, it will screw you up bad
Yeah.
if you want to go hunt with a bow,
Yeah.
because the way it's shaped and everything.
And they take like 30 seconds to
Well,
set up,
you
don't
got
you? Yes.
the full thing here.
You have to
This
do
is
the
one of
dance and all
reasons
that.
One of the reasons why I actually used the long draw, and I had to use the long draw for so long, is because of the kendo pull. In fact, and I never told anybody that, but that's one of the reasons why I actually did the long draw in the first place, is because it just felt natural doing that.
You see,
'Cause
folks?
it's the same from the bow.
You never knew, huh? You never knew. That's the reason why Bill does the butterfly, okay? It has to
Right,
do something with martial arts stuff.
And the other guys that were talking about butterfly at that time and all that, but I just did it. They were like out here doing it, and then I said, well, I like it here, But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's where the pull is on my bow that I had.
Having trained in the martial art, does it help you to focus for that whatever 5-10 second that you're aiming to target? That's what I want to know.
It helps, but
Yeah.
the thing that helped the most,
Yes.
and I'll tell anybody that does
Yes.
martial arts and all that, the thing that absolutely helps the most is teaching martial arts. Because when I alluded to that earlier, I said there's guys who are a lot tougher than me, and I'm
Yeah.
teaching right there.
Like Grandpa.
When I was 17 years old, I taught my first class in martial arts. Okay,
17, wow.
yeah, it was in Taekwondo, and I was a national rank, able competitor, in junior Taekwondo. Okay,
Wow.
I could do really well at that. So Taekwondo is actually my favorite, what you would call a traditional martial art.
Okay, okay.
My favorite martial art of all is combat Hapkido, because you can just put anything you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
in there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the reason why I said Slingshot would be a cool weapon to have in that, because it does the same things as a bow, but you can have it in your pocket.
Yeah,
But anyway, but teaching martial arts is far better for the for all that nerves and everything else like that than doing the martial art.
yeah.
When you're doing the martial art, all you have to do is just follow along and do what the instructor tells you.
Got it,
You're not in front of the class having to do it. So when I'm 17 years old, I get pushed out, and my instructor tells me, says, "Hey, you're going to teach a class tonight," and it's the beginners class, and so
Yes.
I'm looking at it, and these beginners, they're all from Fort Hood.
Okay.
They're all
The
professional soldiers,
Oh my God.
and
Oh, they want to test you
and
out.
they had not only those, they had a Green Beret group in there too.
Yeah.
A squad of them in there, and they were taking Taekwondo.
Okay.
Because our school was one of the best Taekwondo schools in Texas,
Yeah.
and when I started, I didn't know that, but it just ended up being
Wow.
that.
Interesting.
It just was just luck of the draw on that. But anyway, so I'm in there, and then I get up, and the first about this first second, it shell shocked me. I got in there, and I was just like, "What in the world? These guys are bigger than I am, stronger than me.
Yes.
They all have military experience.
Yeah.
They have all been in the in the
In the field.
in the
They've been,
field
yeah,
doing
yeah.
everything, this kind of. They're all killers, every
Right,
one of
right.
them. And I'm going to teach them,
Wow.
what I should learn from them. Is what in my head I was like.
Yes.
But they don't know that.
That's a good point.
Okay.
They don't know that until you tell them.
Well, they don't know until you make such an ass of yourself or screw up so bad that they can just tell.
I got you.
So what you do is, you just take on the persona in your head like you're acting,
Own it.
and you act like the person that you want to be like. So I wanted to be like Bruce Lee, I act like Bruce Lee.
Totally.
Okay, if I wanted to be like my instructor teaching like that, I took on the persona of him. I took on the the even the physical ticks that he did. Little weird way which he would punch sometimes like that. I even did the weird way he punched sometimes. Then I learned that you want to be something, act like something, and then pretty soon it'll catch on, and you are going to be it. So if you want to be a really, really good shot, act like you're the best shot there is. People don't know you're not.
Be it until you be it.
Fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
there's a real,
there you go.
there's real behind that.
Man, you know what? I think that's your background of all the martial art and stuff that philosophizing that what you're doing, on the farm. That's awesome, man. Thanks again for giving us a background of your experience. Not only are you an awesome shooter, but I mentioned earlier you also build frames.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask you. I know that you've been building for a long time. I believe it was like maybe beginning of 2010 was the starting of that.
Yeah.
And it's been now for 12 years, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you see the growth has already growth.
There's some truly awesome stuff out there now. I mean, it makes me proud in a way too, almost like a proud papa. You might say. That so much of it you're seeing out there is based on some of the concepts of which I came up with in the first place.
Yeah. I'm
just like, wow, that's kind of awesome, and it kind of blows me away, like that. And the other thing is, it kind of makes me wonder, why didn't the guys before come up with some of this stuff? Because it seems so basic to me, that it was stuff that should have come up with. But again, going back to the whole Ninja Warrior thing there, until somebody does it, nobody's going to follow and do it and maybe get better on it.
I remember watching one of Gamekeeper John's video, and he was mentioning that he was shooting OTT until he saw one of your videos, and
he switched.
He switched, and he swear to God that it made such a big difference for him.
Yes.
And I was reading about how you decided to wrap the the latex around.
There's a very, very good reason why.
Yeah, compared to now.
I have two older daughters that I wanted to shoot slingshots with.
Ah, okay.
OTT, whenever you're shooting with over the top like that, they would come around and slap them in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did that one time.
And that's it.
And they said, "That's it. I'm not playing this. I'm not shooting anymore."
Take it back, Daddy.
And so I thought about it, and I said, "Well, how can I fix that?" So I thought about it, and I said, "Well, what if I just have it to where it shoots here? Then all the energy is going to be, it'll go through this way and then come back, and we'll never wrap around and slap the hand, and it'll just go through the forks back like that." And so I thought, well, we'll just do it like that. And plus, also, it harkens back a little bit to even the old wrist rocket things. They're like, I never got a hand slap from one of those. But again, when you look at it, it's actually shooting through the forks.
I got it.
And then it does like that. So I just said, well, I'm going to do that. Then I'll try that. And I did it, and the girls shot some. Okay, I did get them to shoot some. And they both know how to use slingshots.
Yes.
But it's like I was forcing them to learn it. And so I let them not have to do it.
I was also reading that, like the material build, before you start building, right? Mm-hmm. Was there only basically wood and aluminum? You know what I'm talking about?
When I first started doing it,
yes.
Everybody made slingshots out of wood, plywood, and they call it multiplex.
Yeah, multiplex.
They made it all sound fancy, but it's plywood. It's plywood.
Totally, but it's marketing. You already know, mister. We need,
so I'm looking for this multiplex online because that's what they said they're what they're making out of. I can't find any multiplex. I'm looking at it and said, well, good grief, how do you find this thing? It's a multiplex, and the only thing I can find is it's related to Slingshot somehow.
Oh my God!
And I can't find the actual raw material because I wanted to make some, And then I said, you don't think that they're just saying
Fancy?
that? And so then I said, I'll look up cabinet grade plywood and like that. And then I looked up and it looked at me exactly the same. I said, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's plywood.
It's a high grade
It's
plywood,
good
though, right?
birch plywood is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it ended
yeah.
up being. And then so it's birch plywood.
I love it.
And it's a cabinet grade or a better type plywood, and that gives you a lot of layers, and those layers, of course, as they cross each other, make it stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we had either solid wood ones, which Tex Harriman was making,
Okay.
or we had like the multiplex ones.
The multiplex one, got it.
Because it's marketing, right?
Yes.
So we had the multiplex.
Only in
one.
Europe it's called multiplex, right? That's where it came
They
from.
say it is, but we look it up in Europe. It's plywood.
Okay, got it. In America it's plywood.
America is plywood,
Yes.
Europe is plywood. There's plywood everywhere. And in fact, if you want to, the one guy
Yeah.
named Torsten something or other, he was making them out of what do you call those things that they're like this they're Australian.
Oh yeah,
boomerang.
He was making a.
He was making them out of boomerang wood.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
so I said boomerang wood sounds
It's
good.
kinda light,
But
right?
what it is it's like about maybe 7 layers of plywood put together, but it's very thin and like this, and then glued them together and then made slingshots out of it.
I mean, everybody does it now.
Well, everybody does it now, but very few did it then. But there were examples, and I
Yes.
have them in my collection
Yes.
that were done long before Jim Harris was ever in the business.
Okay, but you still shocked how he got the patent.
Well, when I went to get
Yeah.
patents on stuff,
Yeah.
my patent attorney told me, said, if there's anything that's even similar
Yeah.
to what you have, your idea, then you're not getting it.
It's not even worth it
It's not even
because
worth
I
it.
can
And
change
then my patent attorney also said
Yeah.
that no matter how good it is, you have to fiercely enforce
Yeah.
your on it, or else the patent's no good. Anybody can use it. So I didn't patent a lot of stuff that I could have patented. I guess it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because the Chinese market, they just take where they want and use it, and then they say that's our ancient way we did it. What are you talking about? When we started doing the slingshots and stuff, the Chinese ones were using those loop tubes with the had the loop tubes, and they had that, and that's what everybody used. They didn't shoot flat bands. They didn't shoot any of that stuff. Then
Interesting.
later on, everybody says, "Oh, no, is this the traditional way which we do it?" No, it's not. All of them shot.
So you remember like 2010?
Uh,
How long have the Chinese been, like really?
they
getting
started
into it?
after I did so a lot of those trick shots and started making them popular, and
Wow, that's
then
so
John
cool.
Webb did a bunch of them
Yeah.
too. Then after that, that's when they started kind of getting into it a little bit, and then some of them, I don't know their names,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I saw them in tournaments start using it about 2014, somewhere in there.
So it's just recently. It's not even that long,
It was
Bill.
about 2014. That was when I really started seeing them getting into it, and then after that, it's like very few of them use tubes anymore.
Okay.
And now it's almost all flat bands, and now it's traditional.
Oh, now it's
Well,
always
we've
been
doing
that
it.
way. Always been.
Yeah. My grandfather taught
Yeah,
me
yeah.
how to do it.
Going back to the material, Bill, that you use, what we see when we go to your website,
Right.
what stands out is the G10.
Right.
And
G10. I was not the first person to do
Okay.
the G10 stuff.
Got it.
The very first person that I know of that did G10 was Mike Snowdy.
Okay.
And he was a custom knife maker.
Okay.
And he was out of Corpus Christi, Texas.
Okay.
I saw him do. He did some of them, and he did it out of G10 and G11. G11 is exactly like G10,
What's it?
except it has a fire resistant property to it.
Okay, got it.
That
Costs more too,
and,
of course.
yeah, like you're gonna catch your slingshot on fire.
Yeah. In your opinion, you think G10 is the best material to use? I'm curious.
It is, in my opinion,
Yes.
the best material to use for a slingshot for a couple of reasons. The weight, it just feels right. The weight does. The strength to power ratio and everything. You just feel that it feels like something that's not going to fall
Yeah,
apart
it
in your
feels
hand.
solid. It feels
It's not going to fall apart in your hand.
Yeah.
And I spent actually a lot of time when we first wanted to go into injection molding,
Yes.
trying to find something that could duplicate that weight and that feel. And we
yeah.
could never really find it, but the closest I found was actual solid polycarbonate.
Yes.
And so we did everything out of polycarbonate. And I guess we were the first ones to do that too.
Yeah, okay.
And we just used solid, perfect polycarbonate because it could take it, you know, whatever you throw at it.
And how about micarta?
Micarta
Okay.
and G10 are kind of the same
Same.
thing. They're
Just
just
different
different.
material?
They're different layered up material. G10 is so you know how plywood's made, right?
Yes.
Where you have
Cross.
a grains going this way on
Yes.
plywood. The next layer is going to be like this,
Yes.
and the next layer like that, and like that. And then it has a type of epoxy in between each one of them.
Yep.
It's a type of epoxy. I don't know the name of,
Right.
and different ones have different types.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has a type of epoxy between each layer,
Got it.
and then when it hardens, it's you know really solid. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
G10 is the same way. It's a layer of fiberglass with epoxy, layer of fiberglass. You know, and they try to cross them the same way
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah.
Although it's a woven material, so it doesn't cross as easily. But they try to.
Okay.
And anyway, they set it up like that. And then they put a press on it, and they press it all together, and then heat it.
Okay.
And that's the reason why it makes it almost impervious to everything. And then once it's heated and put together like that and all, it's really tough. And and you can make really nice, pretty things. You can make thin layered stuff if you like, and it'll still hold. You know.
Yeah, the skull that you do.
Right. The skulls I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Those things that it'll hold detail. It does everything you want it to.
Wow.
And and so that's why I use that.
Like I mentioned, you know, I've been collecting, so I know I have at least maybe 5 or 6 of your frame, including the one that Pro Shot make for you, right?
Right. Well, I had that.
Yeah.
What I did for them in about 2010.
Yeah.
They were coming on. They had just bought Milbro.
Yeah.
You know, the brand there.
OG, yeah.
Yeah. So, and they were talking about wanting to do slingshots of this and that kind of thing. And I said, this sounds to me like a really good thing for the slingshot world really needs this.
Yeah.
You know, and plus aluminum could hold all the same shapes and curves and everything like that. And the way they're doing the process of molding it, you can have any shape you want to. It's not just a flat line on there.
Yep.
You can hold all types of different shapes. So I contacted them and said, I'd really like to get involved with you guys on this kind of thing. And so we got involved. And what I did is I just gave them a bunch of my prototypes, different ones that I'd come up with, and I just let them have them, and so all I want from all those back is you send me about 10 of each of those in aluminum, and you just keep the prototypes, because I want to expand the idea of this type of slingshot throughout the world. And they're in Britain, Great Britain, which has more of a slingshot community than we have here by far.
Yes.
And they're also like in the basically a foothold into all of Europe and all that. And I figure, well, they get that, and it doesn't matter if we don't get any commission off of each sale or not. What matters to me is the concept of slingshots will change.
Love it.
And once the concept of slingshots change, of how they're supposed to look, what they're supposed to function like, and do it like that, then I'll get it at the end. They'll want to come back to the originator of a lot of this and get our stuff like that.
It's, I guess I don't know the term karma is the right term, but I think it's already happening.
That's kind of the way I felt on it. And I actually never conceptualized that like another American would and take all your stuff. Basically, you figure it out, and then like the universal tips type stuff or whatever else like that, and then take it and commercialize it and do it themselves. And it just never crossed my mind that that somebody from my own country would do that, which did happen. And
that's awesome.
So that didn't make me too super happy on that. But anyway, that's what happens when something starts getting successful. Other people will jump in and
of course.
And I have to really start pushing down my old martial arts experience.
Yes.
Like that, if somebody had gone, if you invented a move in martial arts, let's say, and said this is a particular lockup, and everybody acknowledges you did that, and then some other guy comes along, sees you did that, and then he starts doing it, and then he says, "Oh, I came up with that." And then we didn't.
Yeah.
And then you and him are going to probably have a little bit of
conversation.
Of a problem. You're going to have more in the conversation. Okay, it's going to happen.
Yes.
But in out here in this world, it's like you can't just go and break somebody's nose for it. You get to go to jail for that. So.
Right. Speaking of your own design, out of all the numerous frame and design that you did, Bill, what would be your top 3 for Bill Hayes? Top 3.
My favorite,
Ranger is going to be one of them, I know.
my favorite all-around frame would have to be the Ranger, yes, and because that one I can make it in any size. It holds the same shape basically. You know, you can have a little bit longer grip on it. You can have a little this or that on it.
Yeah.
You can have anything like that. But my concept of what I really wanted to do, and I haven't realized it completely yet,
Yes.
is have a drop-down menu on my website so you can choose your own grip size, your own fork size, your everything you want on it, and then I just take it over to a machine. The machine makes it.
Yep.
You know that.
Yeah.
Exactly like you want. So it's a custom slingshot for everybody.
Right. Even
so
more
we-
custom than what you
every
have right
one
now,
of
which
them-
is the 3 sizes, which
Right.
we
Every
like.
one of them would be exactly what you want. You know,
Yeah.
to the millimeter.
Bill, don't give us too much option, please. Okay, you're gonna confuse
The other
us.
thing,
Yes.
the other thing I wanted to do, the other favorite one I've
Yes.
had is probably the Taurus type design. That's what I'm shooting here.
There you
like
go.
this
We're
is.
gonna see that. We're gonna take a look at that in a couple seconds,
The
folks.
Taurus design because it's universal, you know, like that. Now I shoot the Scorpion one just
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit better
Scorpion's nice.
myself. I really do, but the Taurus design is pretty good because you can go either handed with it, and I don't usually shoot with the other hand, but I've done some, you know,
Yeah.
and I like to show off everything.
Oh, actually, you know, I do want to ask you this. I'm right eye dominant.
Uh-huh.
I shoot left. I hear that, you know, there's no right way, whatever's comfortable. What is your thought on, like, you know, shooting with your dominant eye
Okay,
or so?
you hold in your right hand,
I hold my right hand, sir, and I'm right eye dominant.
right eye dominant.
Yeah, I'm opposite. I'm the flip, right?
You're right. That's the opposite of what
Yes,
most
sir.
would consider right.
Yep. Would you
There-
recommend me to
there's-
continue, or do you think you recommend me to like
No,
practice and
don't
learn?
switch hands. If you feel comfortable with those hands already, and you're pretty good, I've seen you shoot. You're all right. You're pretty good. There's no point in changing.
Okay.
What you want to do then is just work it to where you're better with that eye than you were, you know, before, like that. So
yes.
So what you want to do is you get in there and different people say different things. I just say just close your right eye. You know, use your left to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, you get a cheap pair of glasses and
Just
put a
patch.
piece of tape over it, over one of the lenses.
Yeah.
You don't want to put a patch over your eye.
Okay.
Because what happens, you put
the light.
pressure on your eye,
I got
and,
you.
and you notice that whenever you let a pressure right there,
Right.
it's blurry then. But because what's going to happen is, eventually what you're going to do is, you've got this lens covered right here, and you're learning how to make this a dominant eye then.
Yeah.
Shoot with, right?
Right.
So that you can line up with it. Now, once that's done, once you're able to do that, you take the glasses away, and then you can use both eyes again.
Right.
But your brain knows that this is the lineup here, not this one, which would be out there.
Okay. All right. But if I want to, you know, like practice with both eyes, is
That's
okay
the way
too?
I would do it.
Okay. all right.
You know,
I enjoy that actually because you know when I get tired on this hand, I can switch.
Now, if
Yeah.
we were shooting pistols or something like
Yeah,
that, I would
yeah.
say it's something totally different.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
I shoot a pistol right-handed. But whenever I do it, I pull it up. It's right on my center line right
Yes.
here, and like this, and I bring it up like that right here. Now, in a combat situation where you're, you know, this is photography, right? It comes
Yes.
up just like that. If I'm in a combat one, I'll have, you know, gun side back,
Yeah.
and you pull it up and you pull
Yes,
it in here
yes.
like this,
Yes.
but it's still on my center line.
Right.
Right, and so I'm seeing the sight down the center line anyway, like that, and both eyes basically the same. Like I keep both eyes open so I can see anything out here,
Yeah.
you know, that's happening. You have to have good peripheral vision, and you have to have a good, you know, middle stop. Well, that's kind of the same thing on the slingshot. Unless you want to get super precise on like a, you know, match tip or something like that,
Okay.
it really you can shoot with both eyes open just fine.
All right. Okay.
But a match tip, when it gets down to that kind of precision, sometimes your brain will play tricks with you just a little bit. You know, mine anyway does.
yes.
And so I'm looking at it like that, and I'm thinking, and then I'll force my eye closed here, and I say, oh, okay, I'm a hair off. And you can always do that. You can close it, and then, you know, then open it back up and see where you are. Okay.
Well, Bill, I appreciate. Thank you so much for again taking your time. I know there's a lot of other questions. Hopefully, I will see you at different events, and I would like interview you again. If not, maybe we work out something like over the internet now with the technology
Right,
where I can
right,
actually
right.
interview you.
Okay.
But again, I really appreciate it. Before you go though, I would like for them to see the Taurus if it's possible. I want to show them, folks. Is this your competing frame?
I've used this frame
Could
for
I
the
hold
last year and a half.
Let me just show them, folks. This right here. Look at that, baby. All right.
Now on this
Yes,
one
go
here,
ahead.
this is a Taurus. Now on this one here, because you shoot at a lot of different distances, and you're going to do a set shot. So I know that you're going to do one from, about that distance there, and then you're going to do one from, 33 feet and so forth. I have it set. Only the bottom arm is adjustable.
Oh man.
So my sight picture always remains the same, but I can adjust for distance with my bottom arm,
Okay.
and it doesn't ever interfere with my sight picture then, and that allows me then to adjust, because if I know I'm going to shoot a 75-foot shot, I can just set this for 75 feet.
Just do it.
And then just do it. And if I know I'm doing 33 feet, I'll set it for 33 feet.
You got it.
Like that.
All right. Well, you know what? For the last shot, Bill, could you please take another shot while take us out of here, and then so people can come here and they can start doing the thing.
Doing their thing.
Here we go, folks. Last shot from Mr. Bill
All
Hayes.
right. Where do you want it on it?
Right on the center, boss.
All right.
Here we go. There you have it, okay? This is Kelvin Pham once again for FLiP.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you check us out. All right, on that note, folks, have a wonderful day and peace out.
Thank you, sir.
I love it. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.